Hey everybody, welcome to Rider Club Radio. I'm your host Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
Today we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Drive episode, whatever episode this is.
Jeff, it's 44.
Fuck!
You had such a good streak going.
I had like 2 whole episodes where I got it right.
It was like 5 in a row you were getting them. How do you forget 44? It's alliterative in terms of numbers.
My brain doesn't work. I got dumb brain syndrome.
Yeah, I can tell. So this episode...
Yeah, Kamen Rider Night, asshole.
Oh, fuck off.
Right up
I'm
front.
trying to give the summary. If you let me work, please.
You go to work.
Kiriko gets hurt. Some shit falls down on her in the fighting. But the gang still manages to escape because the other Kamen Riders show up, Chase and Go, and they fight off the baddies while the other two get out of there. And Brain manages to escape too, in all the fighting, but he lets himself get captured by Medic. Medic catches up to him, and he's like, okay, I give up. I'll go in, and he's obviously up to something.
There's a great moment where the music swells triumphantly when he turns around, and he has determination on his face, like, I'm gonna face this down. You feel it in your bones. He's finally gonna grow a spine. And then he drops to the ground and starts begging for his life like Dr. Wily at the end of a Mega Man game.
Well, he did grow a spine, technically, just in his own way.
Yeah.
He's defying in his own way. Spoilers.
Spoilers for, like, 2 minutes from now when we get to that part of the episode.
So the police have pressed their pants, and now they have their own Kamen Rider belt and a really small Blinky gizmo. And they can use the Kamen Rider belt to turn into Kamen Rider, I don't think it has a name. It's just like a mass-produced Maha driver.
Yeah, it's just mass-produced, except when the chief uses it. He calls himself Kamen Rider Jin.
Yeah, we get to see the chief test it out, and man, I joke that Chaser's suit looks like it was made in an afternoon. This suit was actually probably literally made in an afternoon. It is...
Well, it's a joke suit that the chief is just supposed to wear.
Well, no, I assume we're going to see more people wear it if it's a mass-produced thing. I mean, I know we've only got like 2 more episodes, but I imagine there's going to be at least one scene where there's like 10 of them running around, policemen's doing their job.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah, but it's like a... It's a mock suit. A base suit is the mock.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle helmet with fucking paintball pads on top of it.
And that's it. And he's wearing a Blinky gizmo on his back. That's the outfit. So, it's... Oh, man. And you can, even though you're a Kamen Rider, you can pull the front of the motorcycle helmet up and show your face.
Because it's just a regular fucking motorcycle helmet. They didn't do anything to it.
But it's supposed to be within the canon of the show. It's like a henshin suit, right?
Yeah.
But you can lift up the helmet.
You henshin into it.
Yeah. So, what the fuck? I don't know. I like the concept of the mass-produced mock driver, and I really like seeing the chief get to be a Kamen Rider, even if it's like a shitty one.
Yeah, it was hilarious. His little fucking transformation sequence.
Yeah, he sprains his neck and can't move, and they have to carry him out while he's like rigid in a funny pose.
What am I, an action figure?
Yeah, as 2 of the cops are like hauling him out of the room. It's a very funny scene. I like June doing his little Kamen Rider antics, but man, that suit, I guess, it's cobbled together. I would have liked. I mean, I would have liked a better suit, but it was probably a bit of a last minute decision.
I imagine it was purposefully meant to look shitty compared to the main riders.
I hope you're right. Like, you can make a suit look weak and shitty while still, like, looking like you put work and budget into it.
Yeah, like Deno Platform.
Yeah. I like Deno Platform or Ryuki Blank Form or Kuga Growing Form. Like, they're all, like, shitty-looking forms, but you can tell they put some work into them.
I don't know if I would call Kuga Growing Form shitty looking, since it's just the same suit but white and a smaller crest.
It's weak looking.
It is weak looking.
You can tell it's Mighty Form but lesser, just looking at it. And you can tell with this suit that it's a mock driver but lesser, but it also looks really cheap at the same time.
Far lesser.
Far, like, I don't even know if it gives you a strength boost. It's just considering that the chief broke his neck trying to use it, so...
The chief is a 60-year-old man.
I don't know. I look forward to seeing like an action scene with a bunch of them, though. It heralds good things.
You think Kiriko's gonna get to use one?
No.
Yeah.
No, you idiot.
Females can't be riders.
People have been talking since the beginning of this series about Kiriko being a rider, and I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe we'll get like a DVD presento, maybe a Gaiden sort of thing where she does it, but in the show,
there might be like a hyper battle video or something where she becomes hyper Gattack or something.
Yeah, we're too far along. I would love to see Kiriko become hyper Gattack, by the way. That would be a nice little throwback. But I think in the main series, I don't think it's going to happen. It's just... It just doesn't seem like something Toei's ever going to do.
Nah. But go ahead with your description of this episode.
Yeah, a bit of a tangent there. But Banno builds a weird-looking sci-fi sphere.
He builds a basketball with shit on it.
Yeah, he builds a basketball with some antennae sticking out of it, and it's meant to regulate the abilities of the promised 4 Roidmudes. And that will help them with the use of this ball. They can make the second global freeze. So we're going to do it. We're going to go down to the promised land, and we're going to do it. And so they head to the promised land. The whole time Brain is like plotting. Heart's like, Brain, how could you do this? How could you go over to Banno? And Brain's like, well, Heart, I'm really smart, and you're not. It's like meant to imply that he's got a plan, but Heart is obviously too fucking stupid to figure it out.
Yeah, the funny part about that is he's like, because I have intelligence and you don't. And like, Banno laughs and says, good one, Brain.
Yeah, you called him stupid. Nice one.
I'm like, are you his fucking sidekick that's meant to make him seem like he's good at insults now? Aren't you the villain?
Banno's the toady to Brain. So they go down to the river, and somebody, a mysterious Mr. X, the same code name that Go used, emails the police and says, oh, the promised land is here, they're going here, they're going to start the global freeze, you should get there and help them. And so, oh, it's Brain working behind the scenes, so everybody goes there. And they're like, oh, we found them. They run into the Roidmudes. There's a big fucking fight. But the Roidmudes manage to put all their power into this orb. But then it turns out that the orb was made to absorb the power of the Roidmudes. And then there's a bunch of feedback. So he shoots the feedback of the power into Medic. Medic absorbs the force of all the power. And
Banno has a great line at that moment. He says, don't worry about her, Heart. She's only gonna die.
It's just death. What are you, some kind of baby? So that was one of the modifications, one of the many, many modifications that Banno made, is that he made Medic receptive to the shit that flies into her. And Brain... I tripped over my wording there. I'm not gonna... You think I'm editing that out? No fucking way, friend. So Brain, his plan was he jumps in and uses some Brain techno fuckery, and he absorbs the power into himself to save Medic's life. He takes it all, and he falls down.
He waits long enough to make it dramatic, like Medic's gonna die, and then he takes the power.
Yeah, he takes his fucking time with it. But he falls over, he blows up, and then he fades away, and Heart and Medic are like, ah, no, Brain! They're like fully good guys now.
They have like a really like heartfelt little scene where he's like explaining why he did it, and they're like, no, why? We love you!
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good scene. You get to see the Roidmude's humanity coming out in it, and they turn on their creator. It's a very powerful scene. They turn on Banno, all the riders and the upset Roidmudes are circling around Banno, and they're like, we're gonna fuck you up, buddy. They finally, the main villain of the series is sort of very, very strongly identified. If there was any hope that maybe the Roidmudes were going to be villains, not anymore.
It's gone.
It's all gone. I mean, in the last couple episodes, it's been kind of obvious.
I want to point out real quick, there is no ambiguity in Brain's death. He's fucking dead.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
See his number fading away.
They are mad as fuck. They want revenge for Brain, and Brain's not coming back in a shower of golden special effects.
But what everybody forgets is that even though the feedback was diverted to Brain, and there was some small victory there, Banno still has the golden ball. It's a gold ball now, and he flies up into the air with it and catches everybody in a tornado, and then the 004, if you remember him, the fake Crim, he self-destructs in the center of the tornado and blows everybody up. It was a trap. Banno was Mr. X.
The end.
Are they dead? Are they gonna die?
And then the title of next week's episode is Kamen Rider Chaser is dead.
So apparently Chaser's gonna die. Jeff...
we had a fake out like this once.
Jeff, what did you think of this episode?
Anybody out there who's watched Freakazoid, remember the little weird guy with the watch that turns people to stone or whatever? Bano laughs exactly like him. Through this whole episode, he goes...
Every time other people are talking, he has that little, like, impish giggle. Like, he's gotta constantly be going.
Fucking Jeepers was the guy's name in Freakazoid. Welcome to the Freakazoid cast! He laughs just fucking like him. And I couldn't get over that the whole episode. Like, there's this implication that he's kind of gone insane because his plans failed for a second. Like, it's meant to make you think that.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, giggling, like, insanely, but he sounds exactly like a fucking Freakazoid joke character.
Yeah,
and I couldn't take that seriously. That's my only complaint to the episode.
It's a great episode, isn't it?
Yeah, this episode's fucking awesome.
It was like last episode we were kind of worried. We were like, oh, maybe it's going to slide back into mediocrity. We were totally wrong.
Absolutely.
They really pushed it up in this one.
There's so many things to love in this episode. I mean, the romantic plot with Shinosuke and Kiriko gets resolved in this episode, and it's done like 2 episodes after it's introduced again.
It's like you said, it's the exact opposite of a Heisei love triangle, the kind you hate.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Chaser is going around, he's still trying to figure out how to go about this whole thing with Kiriko. He likes Kiriko, and he goes to Kiriko's hospital bed, because she was beat up last episode. And she says, he sits down next to her, and he goes, Kiriko, do you like Shinosuke? He just asks her straight out,
yeah,
Kiriko, you in love with Shinosuke?
Fixing all those Heisei misunderstanding problems right up front.
And she reacts the same way Shinosuke did. And so she's like, no, that's stupid, that's fucking dumb. And Chase goes, alright, thanks I know the answer, yeah, thanks. And he gets up and leaves. And that's...
Yeah, he says, like, I know that humans are prone to telling small lies with no malice. And she's like, what does that mean? And he just leaves, and, like, he's, like, got manly tears running down his face. Like, no emotion still, but just tears.
Robot tears, and he's like, this must be sorrow.
This is what love feels like. I'm gonna use this love to save the world and die next episode.
I expect
and that's the end.
I expect that to be a good scene.
Yeah, and then, like, in the preview it shows he, like, falls into Go's arms, and Go's like, Chase!
Of all people, yeah, Go. It's like poetry. Every stanza rhymes with the last one.
If you're playing at home, check mark on your little card that Liam has said that once per episode.
Well, because the Drive writers are getting good at poetry recently. I like the theme that they've been bringing. This should have been in from the very beginning of Drive, but more recently it's been very prominent. The theme of robots finding emotions, which I think is a very interesting thing to explore.
Read Pluto.
Read Pluto. Check that off. I think that's episode 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row. But fucking, I love any story about robots, like, finding out what it means to be alive. Like, to learn about emotions and experience and stuff. And it's been recently in the series that it's become more prominent and everything.
Yeah,
and the scenes with the Roid Mutes tend to be my favorites.
Yeah, there's a chance here to inject a slight little veneer of philosophy into your Karate Bugman, which can always give it a little more flavor. I like.
Oh yeah, I'm always
nothing too heavy because it's a kid's show, obviously, but little stuff, little doses.
Nothing about giving up your humanity to become an inhuman monster to save your friends in the world.
No, when has Kamen Rider ever had that, Jeff? That's just it's too much.
It's too dark. But this episode had, like I said, it had a little bit of everything. It had the comedy with Kamen Rider Jun.
Yeah.
It had the heart with Heart. And also
no shit.
with Chase. And it had Brain's fucking redemption story, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was obvious that he was playing Bano or whatever. Like, the dramatic music that happened was a little bit of a clue, especially since it didn't change to funny music when he started acting like Goofy again.
Yeah, but the secret is what his plan is, not that he's planning. There's still enough to keep the audience interested. The story is still two steps ahead of you.
His plan wasn't like stabbing a knife into Bano's back and killing him or whatever. It was sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the best plan, but it was the most heroic and selfless.
It made for a good scene, even if it was a little nonsensical.
And Brain's death was sad, man. Like, the only 2 people in the world that he'd ever had any his only friends, the only people he'd ever had a connection with, are like reaching towards him as he's dying and can't quite reach him before he disappears.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been rooting for Brain ever since he became an underdog. Ever since he turned gold and got his ass kicked, he's been so down in the dumps that you have to root for him even if he's a bad guy. So they picked a very good character to kill. It's a clever pick.
And everybody gets pissed off, regardless of how they feel about Roidmudes. Like, Go says outright, I've never felt sorry for a Roidmude, but I don't know the last time I've been so pissed off.
Yeah, even Go, it touches his heart. It's a very good scene. I wish the writers had been this good right from the start, but, I'll take it now.
It's better late than never.
Yeah.
And we've reached a plateau. And hopefully there's another plateau above it, and we don't fall into the depths of despair.
Well,
in next episode.
We've only got a few more episodes. I'm sure they can keep it going. I'm hoping against hope that they can keep it going.
Yeah, we've given them not enough credit recently. We've been cutting credit for them, and I think they deserve it back again. I think they can keep it up.
There you go. Drive writers, we know you're listening. We love you.
We know you're big fans of us English-speaking idiots talking about your series. Talking about how shitty it was at certain parts.
Oh, man. Early Drive, holy shit.
It was alright.
Can I say a little bit about Early Drive? Since
Go
we're pretty
ahead.
We're pretty much thumbs up for the episode. We're done talking about it. Unless you
I'm
want
not
to say
done
anything
talking
else.
about this episode.
Okay,
I'm going to come
this.
back to it a little bit, but go ahead.
No. Well, you can talk about that. I'll do this later.
No, go right ahead.
Okay, fuck it. Early Drive was, I think, the worst Kamen Rider I've yet seen. I haven't seen any of the really infamously bad series. I haven't seen, like, Fies or Kiva or any of those. But
alienating fans right up front.
but Early Drive, I haven't seen them. Early Drive was so boring. It was so slow. There was no plot. It adhered rigidly to this structure of it was like the whole episode is like the bad guys plan in a smoky room, and then they send out there's a Roidmude, and they fight him, and then he gets away, and then they come back and they fight him again, and maybe they use a new shift car, and then he blows up, and nothing in the plot changed. And I felt like I was taking fucking crazy pills when Early Drive was airing, because everybody liked it except for me. And then,
let me introduce you to a little series called Kamen Rider Wizard.
Oh boy.
Where
now that's an infamous one.
That happens for the whole series. It never gets any better. Same shit, whole series. And the thing is, Early Drive is your basic Kamen Rider plot. It didn't have any of the, like, excess frills that you get. It was just the bare bones. And it had enough action and enough little character development moments. You know, the basic character development moments. Not like my dad was murdered by a Roidmude, or like my dad's a Roidmude belt, or whatever.
Yeah, the first half was more Shinosuke learning to pull up his fucking pants and be a real policeman, but
yeah,
it
stop
wasn't
lounging around in fields eating candy.
But can you remember a single scene where you actually, like, where it was like, oh, a good bit of character development for Shinosuke in that direction?
I don't remember much of the first part of Kamen Rider Drive.
Early Drive is a blur.
I just remember it being alright. I didn't have much of a problem with it, but I wasn't really getting into it. Like, if you go back, if you scour the internet to find the lost episode of Rider Club Radio with the dead guy on it.
Oh, man.
If you find it in the deepest recesses of the anus of the internet.
Is it even, does it still exist
anymore? I think it does
online?
Somewhere. I don't think I deleted it from anything. Wherever it was, it's still there.
Listeners, we've left everything we own in one piece. Oh. Go and find it.
There once was a man named Jeff Roger.
You'll be rewarded with a really bad episode of a podcast.
Fucking... I will say that the dead guy makes that podcast pretty good, but okay. I was shit. If you listen to the first episode of Rider Club Radio that's available on our YouTube channel, it's shit. It's a piece of fucking shit.
It's a great episode.
Anyway, my point was, if you go back to that episode, you'll hear me and Dead Guy complaining about how fucking boring the first few episodes of Drive are. In retrospect, I've seen worse.
I know there's probably worse out there, and that's maybe why a lot of people were easy on it, because they've seen Wizard and they've seen other series that I don't want to name because I'm going to alienate a huge group of people.
You've already alienated a huge group of people by
right,
saying Wizard.
Fiz and Kiva. Alright, I'll throw them out a second time, just in case there was any ambiguity. I haven't seen those. Maybe that's why people were easier on them, because Kamen Rider apparently gets so much worse, but that was the worst it had ever been for me. And it seems lately now that Drive's really, like, picked up and gotten good, people look back on those episodes and say, oh yeah, they're not very good, you have to power through them, and it's worth it. And that is the correct opinion, but, man, back when Drive was airing for the first time, oof.
Yeah, Liam almost dropped it several times, and I had to, like, keep him watching
I almost dropped it once, yeah. I remember talking to you about it, like, I'm thinking of not watching this show anymore, and you were like, just stick with it, and you know what, I'm glad I did.
It got better. I had no idea if it was going to get better or not. I pulled that right out of my ass.
You had faith.
And it turned out I was right.
Somewhere in the 20s, they figured out what they were doing, so good on that. I'm glad. I'm glad I stuck with it. What did you want to say about this episode? You weren't done? Away from this.
Let's swing on back. I wanted to say that if Chase actually does die next episode, we've had the bait and switch with the death before, but I feel like that might have been to set up the fact that we won't believe that the death is going to happen this time.
I believe that the death is going to happen, 100%. I've said, remember, I said before, Chase can't live. You can't have... It's too weird to end the series with a setting where Roid Mudes and humans live in harmony. It's not... Like in
all the Roid Mudes have to die, in your estimation.
In a Kamen Rider series, usually when it ends, everything is just back to normal. Like, it's not going to end with the world changing forever. It's shit's just going to go back to normal. Helheim is going to go off wherever. The mirror world is going to be over. Whatever.
I don't think that's entirely true. That's, I can't say anything about the ending of any series because it's a fucking spoiler. But the world does not always go back to normal in Kamen Rider. There are a lot of series where, like, the end of the series doesn't put everything back to normal anymore. Not a lot, but I'd say like a handful. And those might be series where things weren't normal to begin with in the world. It's just we didn't know about it as an audience, or the people in it didn't know about it.
Yeah, like there was always monsters hiding beneath the crust of the earth, and now they're just going to stay there, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like Mole Men, whatever.
Yeah, Mole Men. That was my favorite series, actually.
Kamen Rider Mole Man.
Up there just above Ryuki.
So I don't think all the Roid Mudes are going to die. I do think Chaser is going to die, but I think Heart and Medic are... either going to live and learn that humanity isn't all bad, and they assimilate into humanity and happy ending, or they're going to die embracing with each other, or some shit.
That would be nice. I would like that. I'd like that ending.
I would like the happy ending for him. Actually, no, I'd like them to die, because they did a lot of bad things.
It would just be a nice definitive end to the whole Roid Mute story. Just maybe they repent and sacrifice themselves or something, who knows.
Liam, are you one of those people who think that everyone should die at the end of a story?
No. As much as I might seem like that sometimes, I think the Roid Mute should die. But
Shinosuke should not die.
Shinosuke should not die. Go should not die, I don't think. I would like him to have a happy ending. Do you think it's shitty that they straight up told us that Chase was going to die, considering the fact that it's probably going to happen?
I don't know. This reminds me of a little bit of spoilers here for a really old show, but it reminds me of when we were watching Kyoryu Sentai Zoo Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the next episode is, like, the death of Burai.
Yeah, it was
and we were like, what the fuck? Really?
It would do a preview. The next episode preview would be like, will Burai survive? Find out next time on Burai's journey into death. And it's like, I fucking wonder.
And it would just show him fucking dying on a beach. Really, show? This is where we're going? I think this is one of those, where the Japanese just don't have that, like, don't spoil me attitude about it.
Yeah, I don't know. That was shitty, because Burai's death was good. That was, like, one of the brightest spots in Zoo Ranger.
I love Zoo Ranger anyway. It's a great series, but Burai's story arc is the best part about it.
Yeah, he was the most interesting Ranger, that's for goddamn sure.
I liked Geki best, but it was just because I had a man crush on him.
Well, he wasn't my favorite. My favorite was Dan by a huge margin, but I liked Mirai was the most interesting. Dan was hysterical.
Interestingly enough, Kyoryu Sentai Zooranger's entire cast is going to be at Power Morphicon, except Dan, because he has a life.
Dan, my favorite ranger, turned out to be the cool and successful one, apparently, so there's that.
Anyway, I think Chaser is going to die. I hope that Heart and Medic... I'm on the fence about what I hope happens to Heart and Medic, because the more I think about it, the more I think it would be kind of shitty that they cause so much damage and chaos, and then they just get to fucking walk away at the end of the series. But I guess that's what redeeming yourself is about. Like, look at Dragon Ball. Like, Vegeta destroyed a planet and some filler, and then he got to live happily ever after with
filler.
Wife and kid.
It's filler. It doesn't count. Never happened.
He still murdered a lot of people.
Yeah, Vegeta was a bad guy. So was Piccolo, and they both made out pretty good in the end.
Yeah, Piccolo didn't kill a bunch of people, though. He was like a babby, and then he grew up to an adult man real quick and wanted to kill Goku, but didn't.
I'm sure he did some bad things off screen. Off panel. It's
Dragon Ball Cast.
Welcome to the Dragon Ball Cast. We're just a general variety hour.
Fuck it.
But yeah, who cares? But yeah, that's the episode this week. Huge thumbs up. Hopefully you're not listening to this before you've seen it, because it's really good.
Spoilers ahoy. We have hit that fucking iceberg and we're sinking.
Hopefully some hopeful is not listening to this like 5 years down the line and going like, oh, I wonder what Drive's like. And here we are like, oh, Brain's dead, Chase is gonna die.
What the fuck? I wonder what Drive's like. Let me listen to episode 29 of this podcast.
Maybe he's just listening for shits and gigs and he sees us talking up Drive and he's like, oh, maybe Drive's good.
This is the last episode. He just finds it at the end of the fucking episode list. He's like, I'll start here.
In 5 years in the post-apocalyptic waste, he's going to find the episode in some rubble.
What the fuck? I need to find food and shelter, but I wonder what Kamen Rider Drive is about.
It's pre-war culture. Good episode. Great episode.
It was a great episode.
One of my favorites.
The romantic subplot handled very well. It wasn't intrusive to the plot.
Like you said before,
it adds to the stakes.
It's a little comedy, which is exactly what it should be at this point in the story.
Yeah, to have it happen so like jutted in right at the end there. It has to be comedic in tone. If it was, like, really dramatic, that would be weird as fuck. Yeah,
you can't insert a big character thing like that so close to the end of the series. It's just gonna be horseshit. So you gotta just play it light, and that's exactly what they did. They knew what they're doing.
I was scared to death of this plot. When it first started, I was like, what the fuck is gonna happen? This is love triangle horseshit. And then it's resolved in, like, 2 episodes. Way to go.
Fucking good episode.
Good. The action wasn't like over the top good or anything this time, but the story propped it up.
Yeah, the action was average. The action was what you would expect. But the writing is what we're really here for. That's what I'm really here for, and it was good.
Yeah, I like. I will say one thing about Drive. The action in Drive has been pretty consistently good.
Yeah, the fight choreography is nice.
I mean, the one thing I'll say that's really great in Wizard is the fight choreography, and sometimes Drive has touched the same level of fight choreography. Like, rarely, but it has. So that's always a welcome thing for me, because I'm a big martial arts movie guy.
Yeah, I know you are. Fuck.
Sorry, I have taste.
I don't even watch movies, so I can't say anything.
All he watches is Kamen Rider and then the dark edge of his room that he stares into.
A cinephile I am not, which is probably why I watch Kamen Rider.
Oh!
Fucking...
Take that shit, Toei.
He fades! Rim shot! Fuck you, John.
That's like a running joke or something. Now that we've talked about the episode, why don't we move on to some Kamen Rider news?
Oh, thank you for segueing that away.
Hey, you're welcome.
Let's start with a bit of Drive news. The final episode of Drive is going to feature Ghost. We already know that. Yes. But this week we got some plot details, and boy, does it look bad.
Uh-oh.
So, the plot of this last episode is, apparently, the whole conflict is going to be over, and the last episode is going to be, just like Gaim, it's going to be like a few weeks later or whatever, 6 months after, and they're going to be like cleaning up Roidmudes or something. It says cleaning up the rest of the Roidmudes, whatever that means.
Like killing the final Roidmudes.
Oh no, it's bringing them into the pit and giving them a good rub down and washing them and getting them squeaky clean and then sending them back out.
Don't fucking Flanderize the pure murder, the bloodlust for Roidmudes.
And while they do it, Shinosuke stumbles upon the Newton icon. Eventually, Drive and Ghost will team up to face the revived Freeze and Sword Roidmudes. These two riders will work together to finally end the Roidmude threat.
So 001 was the final boss.
Oh boy, 001 is the final boss as much as fucking Jam was the final boss of Gaim.
Hey, technically Jam was the final boss.
That's canon, you can't erase that.
God damn, we have to live with that for the rest of our lives.
Fucking Jam. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Somebody make a supercut of Gaim where it's every episode with every bit left in, but it just ends right before the last episode.
I love Gaim to bits, but oh my god. Everybody knows what I think about the last episode. We've already talked about that.
Yeah, we've been on it a lot.
And it looks like we're gonna get a repeat, so I sure can't wait for that shit.
That's something that's just gonna keep happening, apparently.
Yeah,
awesome.
Ghost is probably going to have it for whenever Rider comes after Ghost. And
please watch our new series.
Whatever.
I
guess it's just a little extra thing. It doesn't have any effect on the actual plot.
It's just a commercial.
You can easily skip it if you're watching through later. Just don't watch the final episode and you won't miss anything. So I guess it's not a huge deal. But man, it sucks.
Speaking of please watch our series, there was a video released that's meant to showcase Kamen Rider Ghost transformation, some of his action, his icon switching, and it is batshit insane.
It's balls to the wall. It shows the icons landing on Earth from a spaceship from space.
Yeah, they fucking, like, crash land and they're floating in the spaceship and it looks like there's a meteor coming down and it's gonna crash Earth to bits.
They're not gonna be from space in the show.
I really, really hope not.
I hope that was just like a stylistic thing.
They crash land on Earth, but they're in a tiny little funny ship.
Yeah.
And the humans don't even notice it, and they fall out. And somehow the ghost forms, like, outfits are alive without the icons.
And they're dancing with Ghost on stage at a concert.
And they play instruments, and Ghost is some sort of performer man, and evil ninjas break in.
It's like a weird 80s music video.
It really is.
But you get...
It's holy shit, this is Duran Duran as fuck.
Yeah, but you get to see Ghost in motion doing his transformations. You get to see some cool special effects with the floating hoodies of the different forms. You get to see Ghost fighting. So
you don't get to see Ghost's actual, like, transformation. You see him do his shit. He, like, pops open his cassette player and puts his icon in it and pops it back closed, and then it does, like, 3 or 4 jump cuts, and he's already transformed. Like, there's no special effects.
Yeah, it's a bit like Forza. You put the thing in, and then you pump a little, like, pump on the side, and then it transforms.
It makes the eye open.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Forza driver. So it's kind of neat, actually. You have the eye in it, and it, like you said, it blinks open. I do hate the look of the Ghost driver, but it's a nifty gimmick.
And then he fights the ninjas, and for some reason the ninjas are stronger than he is, even though he beats all of them in all of the scenes.
Yeah.
And the crowd, like, yells for him, and then he gets up and rider kicks every ninja at once.
Yeah, it's
batshit crazy, and then he wakes up from a nap.
It was just all a fantasy. It's a big clusterfuck, but it's there to show you a little bit about what it's going to look like in motion, and I thought it looked quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think Ghost, I love the hoodie still. Thankfully, that's still cool, and the floating hoodies are really weird, but I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, they're like, I love the floating hoodies, though, because they're like sheep ghosts.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like...
Exactly.
They're like samurai sheep
like
ghosts.
Charlie Brown
like
ghosts.
hoodie sheep ghosts. I love it.
I will say one thing, though. I noticed this, and it makes me terrified. The icons seem to, just like the Shiftars, be sentient. Like, they wiggle around and they act of their own free will.
That kind of terrifies me as well. I don't want that to be a continuing thing in Kamen Rider.
I'm not worried about that. It is kind of annoying that we're getting 2 in a row. I'm worried that they might talk because they have
you were
ghosts.
so worried about that.
I was
the
worried about that
fucking
with
shift
Drive,
cars.
and now it seems they're going towards that with Ghost, and all I can picture is, like, some CEO at Toei is, like, he's pushing it so hard, like, make the toys talk, the kids will love it. And there's some poor intern who's, like, running around the building trying his damnedest to make sure the toys don't fucking talk. Convincing everyone he can. And so they're, like, getting, like, 99% of the way there. Like, they're sentient, they move around. They're one little writing flub away from talking little toys. And I don't know, like, it seems like they're gonna do it this season. They're gonna fucking finally bite the bullet and do it after they've been teasing it for so long.
I will bet you... We made a bet before. Did I win that bet? What was that bet?
Oh, it was something to do with Krim. I'm gonna have to go back. I don't remember what episode it was.
Oh, it was that Krim was like Bano Belt taking control of a roid beam.
Oh, and you weren't true, so I don't have to buy you a shift card.
You don't have to buy me shit.
Good.
Jeff was wrong. Shocking.
No way. So, what is your theory this time? What is your bet?
I want to bet that they don't talk.
I want to believe you, but they're actual historical figures now. Like, they're people. So,
Yeah, but the ghost, like, hoodies and the ghost, like, samurai things, maybe they talk.
That's fine.
But I don't think the icons talk.
If the hoodies talk, I'm down. As long as they're not annoying.
You want to bet on that?
Yeah, fuck it. Well,
what'll I get? What'll I get if I win?
Okay, how about this? The loser has to buy the winner a cheap SG Kamen Rider toy of their choice, like a cheap little sound toy lock seat or shift car or whatever. How about that?
All right.
We're
shaking on it. You guys can't see that. We're shaking.
We'll see. Okay, so I would much prefer that, but I don't like little talking toys. I think it's dumb.
It is dumb. I don't like it
even
either.
in
like having the belt talk, I had to warm up to.
Yeah, I was okay with that. It's just even in like a Karate Bugman series, I don't like the whole like, oh, they're like a little like sidekick and they follow you. They drive on the roads and.
You would hate Kivat.
Yeah. Every time I see Kivat flying around talking, I'm like, oh boy,
awesome.
This series is high on my list.
I want that toy.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, that video's weird. And in the end, it turns out that he was taking a nap, and like some lady from off screen starts talking to him in language I don't understand with no subs.
Yeah, some kind of weird made-up ghost language. I don't know what they're doing with this.
And then they leave. The end.
It's cool. You should watch it. It'll show you a lot of stuff about what Ghost is going to look like.
Yeah, I recommend it. 10 out of 10.
It's more of a teaser. Like there's no plot details or anything. It's just.
And hopefully, it's a bunch of bullshit that's not going to be in the show.
I'm sure he's not going to be a pro musician, and the icons aren't going to be from fucking space. Because that would mean Isaac Newton was from space, and that wouldn't make a lick of sense.
We don't know that. We don't know history for real.
That's true. The fucking government's been covering it up.
Fucking Illuminati.
I'm telling you, Benjamin Franklin was an underground mole man.
Nice callback.
I'm just knocking him out of the park tonight.
God.
So we have that. There's also an actual trailer, finally, for Gaiden 2.
Lots of shirtless hunks.
There's a scene where Zack is in some... We found out earlier Neo Baron is like an underground fighting ring. So I guess Zack, in order to infiltrate them, takes off his shirt and fights a big guy.
Yeah, if you've seen the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, it's exactly that scene.
I was thinking exactly that, actually, when I saw it.
Like, even the big guy even does the jumping punch thing that the guy does.
Yeah, the scene where he's a pit fighter.
Yeah, it's like 1-for-1. But I would rather see Zack shirtless.
I think you're right.
But yeah, it seems action-packed. There's a lot of flashback scenes in the Duke part.
Yeah, well, Duke takes place during the production of the, it takes place in the middle of the series while they're building the Genesis drivers.
Yeah,
so
but
it's all
also there are flashbacks to when Ryoma had his weird short haircut. So that's before the creation of, the final implementation of the Sengoku driver, even.
Are you sure that's not just the hair department not giving a shit?
Yes, I'm sure. I don't think they would put the I don't give a shit about his wig parts in the trailer.
Maybe.
They do have a recolor of a recolor in this one, so...
The Kamen Rider Saver.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see him for a brief moment, and he is a cult leader, and there's, brainwashed people.
Yeah, he seems kind of intimidating, so he could be good.
I mean, look, the suit is a recolor of a recolor of a recolor, but I do like the look of Apple Arms. It's a nice suit. I can see why they keep using it every chance they get. It's a nice
suit. It was a nice suit the first time. It'll be a nice suit the 30th time.
I can't wait till the Ghost crossover special where he fights the Apple Ghost. The Apple Ghost with the green-orange slice sword, the lime sword.
The lime saber.
What is the Dai Maru? You get all, the lime
Maru, yeah. That'll be great.
Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be great.
So, in the trailer, we get to see a bunch of flashes of Ryoma looking at a camera.
Sick.
And flashes of guess who else is in this movie? All the other actors we could get.
Everybody we could possibly pull back.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this DVD movie in 3 months.
Well, no, hang on. It's not like with the movies where you have to wait for it to come out of theaters.
We do have to wait a while.
Well, we have to wait for subs. I'm sure Orange Lion or someone will get on it if Overtime doesn't.
We have to wait for, rips from the DVD, then subs.
Oh, that's like a week. It'll be fine.
It's gonna be a month or so,
Maybe.
buddy.
We'll see. Let's make a 7 more bets by the end of this episode.
I bet you that you're a dickhead.
I bet you my house.
I'll win. You owe me so much stuff.
We also get a couple shots of Lemon Arms and Depth Charge Fist, Jinba Chestnut, in this one.
They pan around the Depth Charge Fist for a second, and it looks like it might be flat on the inside.
It is flat on the inside, definitely. It's not spheres on his hands, it's hemispheres on each fist.
I don't want it! I don't want it!
You're getting it!
God, why? My favorite rider finally got an upgrade. And it's a piece of fucking shit!
Yeah, it's, I like the Depth Charge Fists. I like them even though they're in half.
I would like them if they were circles. They're alright as halves. Whatever.
We've talked about this before.
Dude, you know what would be really cool, though?
What?
If he, put them together and did, a two-hand fish smash.
I bet that's gonna happen. That's why they're in half.
That would be fucking sick.
We just cracked the code.
I just changed my fucking opinion of this suit.
Turned it around with one thought. Amazing.
The forehead thing's still stupid.
Yeah, the forehead thing will always be dumb. Unless it combines into the bomb when it's made with the smashing of the fists together. Then it would all come together.
The second verse would rhyme with the first.
It would be just like poetry. If you'll remember a few weeks ago, we talked about there were photos of the set of Kamen Rider Drive, and on the set was Kamen Rider Lupin. And we thought, well, this isn't a movie set. They're not shooting a movie, so is he going to be in the show? Is it going to be a mimic enemy? Or what? Well, it turns out he's going to be in a DVD special called Type Lupin. And that's it.
He is a movie writer through and through.
Till the end, this guy. Let me see if I can... Secret mission Type Lupin. And there is no details for the plot quite yet. Just, he's coming back.
I'm excited.
I'm not.
I was being sarcastic.
I know. I just needed to... There can't be any room for error. They have to know that I'm not excited.
No. Lupin could have been a really cool concept had they gone that extra 9 yards with him and made him like the gentleman thief that they were trying to set him up as.
Yeah, he wasn't a cool or threatening villain, really.
No.
He came off kind of bland. Maybe he'll be great in this one, but...
He was like a milquetoast villain.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I'd call him.
It's hard to get excited for somebody who, I can't remember a single line he spoke in the movie.
He doesn't have a moment where it's like, oh, that was cool. Not a single one.
He's like, I'm a thief. I'm gonna not steal anything.
Yeah, I'm a gentleman thief, but I'm just gonna fight.
I'm gonna steal the title of Kamen Rider because there aren't other Kamen Riders.
Only one ever.
There's never been, say, a prototype of a Kamen Rider. That's never happened.
Even within Drive, there was more than one rider. How do you fuck that up?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, none of this matters.
That's what they thought at the meeting. They were like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. These stupid kids will not know the difference. It's weird that seems to be the philosophy with a lot of the side stuff, where it's like, it's so lazy compared to the actual show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, Kamen Rider 3.
Like Kamen Rider 3, if we're going back to that.
Fuck. The laziest. Well, not the laziest. That would be Heisei vs. Showa, but...
Oh, boy.
It's the second laziest.
It's down there. We should address something about emails.
Here's what I want to say about
We
emails.
received a lot this week.
Yeah, I love hearing from you guys. I love reading what you have to say. I haven't been so great at responding to emails recently because I'm an asshole, but...
No surprise there.
But... we would like to hear your questions. Like, it doesn't have to be questions for us. It could just be things that you'd like to hear us, like, talk about.
Musings.
Or, yeah, like, things that, lead themselves into conversation topics that we could address with you guys. You might notice that we have our thumbs up our asses this week when it comes to mail.
We got a lot of emails, but, no real meaty questions, so...
And if you send in a question and we aren't answering it, it doesn't mean that it's like a shitty question. It means that it's a really shitty question. No, it just means that we agreed that it might not be something that's so great for the episode. That's it.
So, send us a question and make it good, or else...
It's none of your shitty questions.
Bring only the best for this best
Get together,
podcast.
Everybody who listens to our podcast, get together and brainstorm on a good question.
Yeah, you all know each
email
other.
It in.
You all know each other, right?
Just go to the Writer Club. That's why we call it this fucking name,
Yeah.
Writer Club Radio. Just go to the Writer Club.
Absolutely.
We're there every day.
Don't you guys know the address?
It's 123 Fake Street. Not Real City, California.
Fictional state. Zanzibar land.
Just come on down to Outer Heaven.
Yeah. Jeff, I wanted to talk to you about Movie Wars.
Well, I gotta go. End the podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Nope, the music's not going. It's time. Get back here.
Fuck.
So last week we talked about Movie Wars GP, and this week Overtime subs of Movie Wars GP came out, so I'm sure a bunch of people are watching it again, or maybe watching it for the first time if you were waiting.
Hopefully they didn't listen to us spoil the entire movie, but what the fuck are they missing?
Fingers crossed, yeah, we'll see. So there's a lot of buzz around about Movie Wars right now, and I wanted to know, Jeff, what is your personal dream Movie Wars movie? If you could have an infinite budget, you could get back any actor you wanted, you knew it would be good, like you knew it would have a good writing staff in this fictional world, what would your dream Movie Wars movie be? That's what I want to know. That's my question submitted this week.
A Movie Wars movie that isn't a piece of flaming fucking shit.
I can only suspend my disbelief so much, Jeff.
That's it. That's all I want. It doesn't... It could have fucking anything in it as long as... Well, I say that like there hasn't been a good one. Movie Wars Megamax was a good movie. But that was the last one.
Okay, but let's assume this is a perfect fantasy world.
In my perfect fantasy world, I don't know if I would want everybody back, because that seems like it's going to be a clusterfuck. That would be,
yeah, a huge clusterfuck.
If I could have anybody back, fuck. I would only want... I don't know, Movie Wars has to include all the suits. Like, all the suit actors have to be in it.
It's perfect world, it doesn't have to.
Well, that's what Movie Wars means.
Well, Movie Wars means it's a big crossover between a bunch of seasons, but it doesn't have to be every single one.
See, I would want... If I could have anybody I want back, I would want Shotaro and Philip back.
Mm-hmm.
I would want... Actually, no. I'm going to go back even further. I would want Godai back.
I fucking knew it.
Joe Odagiri. Yep. I want him back. I want Shoichi back from Agito, and I want my fucking Kuga and Agito crossover movie that I never got. That's all I want.
The promise that Toei failed to keep.
That's my promise number. The first Heisei series and the second Heisei series.
What about Ryuki, though?
Ryuki can
put the
fuck
third
off.
in there. Nice round 3.
How would I love your math skills. How would Ryuki fit in with Kuga and Agito in any way, shape, or form?
He would be stuck in a mirror the whole time looking out at the fights.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I would like to join them, but I can't.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, they threw that shit out the window when crossovers came, didn't they?
Well, all the crossovers take place in the mirror world, obviously. It's the only explanation.
Of course. Yeah, all I've ever wanted, ever since I started watching Kamen Rider, is Kuga and Agito to have that crossover. That's all I've wanted.
Yeah.
And I know there are extenuating circumstances, both
Extremely.
in series and out of series.
Extremely, yes.
But man, that would be my true dream. If I could have my big, giant, other movie, my actual movie Wars movie, I would want all the riders past, Decade can come, and all the riders past Decade can come. And it could be a big movie about a time vortex or something.
Sort of what they did with when they had Double O's and Forze all together, except with all of them instead of just
And maybe there's something that's causing a rift between the pre-Decade Riders worlds and the post-Decade Riders worlds, and all the face actors have to come back and band together to solve the mystery. Which we have some detective riders in there to lead the charge. Shotaro and Philip can lead the charge.
Shinosuke as well.
Shinosuke can come as well.
Yeah.
And they can solve the mystery of what's breaking down the walls between realities and perhaps destroying the pre-Decade Heisei worlds. And that would give me even more fodder for RiderClub.text, which you can find on our blog right now, with a nice little essay I've written about the differences between pre-Decade Heisei series and post-Decade Heisei series. Go give it a read.
That was a good plug. You formulated your whole answer around it. That was brilliant.
I didn't. I just realized towards the end of that it would be perfect.
If you're listening to this and you happen to be in marketing, you might want to give Jeff a call.
That would be the bare bones of my dream project, and all the actors would have time to shine. They wouldn't just be standing around in the background.
Yeah.
And there wouldn't have to be a million other riders fighting in giant battle scenes at all times. It could be more personal with each rider.
Yeah.
Or X and Phi's get to have their own movie where they resolve their fucking plot.
That would be great. They had a mentor-student thing kind of going that they should have been... I wish I could have a whole movie about that. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, that would be great.
A mentor Showa rider and a student Heisei rider. And just them. You don't need anybody else, except, I don't know, maybe Decade in there because it's Movie Wars, and Masahiro Inoue wants to come back. Sure.
Yeah, he wants to come back for every movie,
sure.
So just let him come back.
I like him, let him come back.
He's a good dude.
But you don't need a huge cast. A smaller cast...
Is this your answer?
No, this is just going off of what you were saying. A smaller cast is something I would really want, but we're never going to get.
No. Gotta have everybody.
Yeah.
Gotta have all the suits, the empty suits standing around.
I hate that they have all these writers that don't have a single line of dialogue, and it's just so weird, because looking at them you were a main character once with your own feelings and aspirations, and now you're just standing around staring off into space in the background, and it's just...
Now you're a fucking mannequin that's there to hold up a memory.
Yeah, it's like if there was a James Bond movie or something, and Sean Connery came back, except he didn't say anything, and he just, read a book at, a desk or something while Daniel Craig did everything. It's just fucking it would be weird, so weird.
Or I would pay to watch an hour and a half of Hiroshi Fujioka coming back and beating the shit out of every other rider.
Kamen Rider 1 versus all riders. Movie Wars, old man.
Movie Wars, old man.
You got some good ideas knocking around in that brain of yours.
There's got to be something up there. What would you want?
I would want my dream movie to be about a very small cast of secondaries. Get 5 or 6 secondary riders back. You could get Knight, obviously. You gotta have Knight. You could get Gatak. You could get Zeronos. He was there. Get Zeronos back. You could get fucking Meteor. Bring them all back. Garen, if he decides to come back again. Just get a small cast of secondaries fighting their primary riders as villains. Would be really...
the primary riders are all, brainwashed?
Brainwashed or something. Just
That could be interesting to show the different relationships between the secondary riders and the main. Like, Knight would be totally cool with beating the shit out of Shinji.
he spent the whole series doing it, yeah. But like you could have them brainwashed, or it could be some sort of like ideological difference, which would be a lot more interesting, but harder to do with Kamen Rider, I think.
That's what I'm gonna say. Like, there was an ideological difference in Heisei versus Showa.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking like an ideological difference that's not completely stupid, like inside and out. In a dream world, it would be good.
In a dream world, they would put more thought into it than, hey, we gotta have these guys fight. Maybe it should be over a flower.
Yeah, something else, like, I don't know, some moral decision, and the secondaries fall on one side and the primaries fall on the other side, and naturally all the face actors would be back. Naturally, you don't need a million other riders, just like 5 secondaries, 5 primaries. Make a nice cast. And no Shocker is behind it all, no Badan is behind it all, whatever. Just the riders and the conflict, and the character conflict with this small cast, I think would be something really great and something really refreshing. That's my answer.
Yeah, I would watch the hell out of that.
And like you said, you get to see a little more intimately how the secondaries feel about their respective primaries. Like, some of them might be very conflicted, like Attack would probably be very conflicted, but like you said, Ren wouldn't give a fuck.
No.
So it would be fun stuff like that.
I would watch the hell out of that movie. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I'd be down.
You get one good idea a year, apparently. I'm excited for you.
If only Toei had one good idea a year, we might have some good Movie Wars movies.
Shit!
I'm full of them tonight.
God damn, you're throwing barbs left and right.
It's just slam dunking all over the podcast.
In a perfect world, there would be a Kamen Rider the first movie that wasn't padded out with a bunch of horse shit and had actors that were capable of carrying it.
Just like a nice 1 hour and a half retelling of the Kamen
just
Rider story.
retell the first couple episodes.
What about like, is it just gonna, would it end with like them riding off to fight more evil forever? Or
No, Rider 2 wouldn't even be in it.
That's true.
It would just be Rider 1, and yeah, like, he would save, like, the fucking day at the end of, like...
Have a small conflict, yeah.
Yeah, like, it would be him making his first steps to defeating Shocker. Like, it would end with his first victory over Shocker. A hard-fought victory. And then he would realize at the very tail end of the movie that is the first step of millions. And he would have to face that future.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of the movie.
That'd be good. You have, so like I like action movies about small conflicts, like Judge Dredd, the newer one.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just get all...
The Dread.
Yeah, Dread. And it's like, it's not like the fate of the world isn't at stake, it's just like, there's this one building, and that's the whole thing. It's cool. It creates a nice focus.
I mean, if you, like, think about Mad Max Fury Road, what is the conflict in that? Like, a bunch of women want to get away from a guy.
Yeah, it's a fight just for survival, but it makes a really cool, it's a cool contained action movie that doesn't get too bloated.
It doesn't always have to be the fate of the world type stuff.
Yeah, it would be cool to see that with Kamen Rider, because with Kamen Rider, it is always the fate of the world.
Yeah, absolutely true.
It always comes down to it.
Absolutely true. But that's a good idea your movie was. It's sad that we'll never get a good Movie Wars.
Yeah, it's fun to think about, though. Crossovers are fun to think about.
Yeah. It's a shame that crossovers are always made so mindless for the most part.
They're like, you could say that Kamen Rider in general these days is a cash grab, and I guess you wouldn't entirely be wrong. You'd be a cynical fucking asshole, but you wouldn't entirely be wrong. But the Movie Wars movies are shameless.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting around that.
It's, a lot of things are said in movie reviews in that, like, action movies are made to create a good trailer. The story, it doesn't come in.
I can think of some.
Yeah, it's all about just making a good trailer to get people in the seats. And that's Movie Wars to a T.
Well, when was the last time a Movie Wars trailer got you excited to see the movie?
I was actually pretty excited to see Kamen Rider 3.
Really?
Or I would have been had I not known what Movie Wars movies are like.
I guess that's the real, like, kicker. Because, like, if you had just told me outright, just raw, hey, they're making a movie where all the Heisei riders are fighting all the Showa riders, I would think that was great if I had never seen a Movie Wars movie before in my life.
Yeah.
So, I guess
I tried not to be a cynical asshole, but my optimism was proven wrong with that movie.
Fool me once and all that.
It was like Fool Me Fourth or something.
Fool me 7 times. I'm just gonna shoot myself. There's nothing to do then. That's about all we had this week.
Yeah, it's a lighter episode. I don't know. We're over an hour.
We broke an hour. That's fine.
We always talk about how long we fucking run.
We met the quota. All right, we can turn it off now. We're free.
All right, we're done. Bye.
Goodbye.
No, send us an email, please. As you can see, our episode is awkward and weird without an email segment.
Send us a question email with an interesting question. We should emphasize that.
Yeah, don't fucking send us any of your goddamn conversations. Send us questions.
You can, if you would like to tweet a comment, if you would like to send a comment to us, you can tweet us at Rider Club Radio. That's where we'll take that shit.
Yeah. Go to Twitter and tweet us at Rider Club Radio, and we will discuss shit with you back and forth. We do it all the time.
We'll give you a retweet, and like 100 people will see it, so...
But thanks for tuning in. Send us an email, riderclubradio@gmail.com. Send us a question in that email, please, or what the hell ever you want. We would just like to have questions as well. And tweet at us at Rider Club Radio. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody.
See you.